Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back. So, how's everybody doing this fine day? This fine day for some fine Bloodwine times.
Good. Nothing flooded in my apartment.
Man, so glad to hear that.
Didn't you say that you had some water problems right before, before this, like an hour ago?
Yes. So it seems like this is going to be an annual thing, but when the heat turns on, my furnace has an outlet pipe for the water condensation that apparently turns up and bends, so it can no longer outflow. So when they switch back to AC and condensation actually starts, the water has nowhere to go, so it just drips out of the system and onto the floor, which then goes into my carpet. But I was smarter this year because last year I was all in a panic about it, being like, "Oh fuck, my apartment's flooding. Can't use my AC, can't do any of that." And literally the repairman comes in, takes one look at the pipe, and just turns it down, and you just hear this water flush out of the system. And so I just went into it, I felt water in the floor and just went, fuck. Went in, turned it down, and just went, solved it again. This is gonna happen every year, I swear to God.
Now, how much did he charge for that, though?
Oh, it was free. It was building, and they take water.
Okay.
They take water damage very seriously.
Yeah, there's definitely a different energy to our openers depending on whether it's we're all going, okay, cool, we're good, we're late, we gotta go, we gotta get ready, and then we open hello, welcome to Bloodwine, let's jump right into it, folks, like, comment, subscribe, as opposed to when we've all been that mix of ready but not ready, where you're kind of lackadaisical, yeah, we can go whenever, and then eventually it's oh, it's 7:45. We should probably get started.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Bloodwine. Welcome back, everybody. It's great to just have some bros around. We should probably do this show.
We've been kind of on call for 45 minutes now.
Yeah. And I mean, in my defense, it's so hot in here.
Yeah.
I've only half finished my streamer juice. It's
your streamer juice.
I gotta ask.
An energy drink.
Okay, what is your energy drink of choice?
That good old-fashioned Rockstar.
Okay.
I don't fuck around no Monster. That stuff's scary. People die drinking that. Yeah, spooky.
We don't need no Hideo Kojima bullshit in here.
Yeah, exactly. But Rockstars have a pretty good track record with sort of using substances that affect your body in fun ways. So I trust them.
Except for all the rock stars that I didn't quite make it. But
let's be real, we're putting shit in our bodies when we drink that stuff. It's a willing risk.
The thing is, we're also putting shit in our bodies when we eat anything.
And when we drink alcohol.
Woo. Oh, don't worry, there's rum in here too.
Just gonna drink my Coke and enjoy myself.
Yep.
Water.
You with your health.
Or lack thereof.
Oh, we found some good what are they called? Health biscuits at the grocery store. They're really good.
The Oreo brand health biscuit.
Yeah, Oreo brand health biscuits.
When you said health biscuits, I genuinely narrowed my eyes going, is this a reference to a gag that we've made up? Is that something that you guys found at a roadside stop once and it's in Henny's inventory and I forgot?
Then he's going to whip out those health biscuits. Yeah.
Health biscuits.
Health biscuits.
Oreo brand health biscuits.
Oreo brand health biscuits. So anyways, I got a clipboard with some words on it if y'all want to get started.
Let's hear the words.
I would love to.
Words.
Words. Are you quoting Shakespeare? I see.
Time to stop for a conspicuous minute to let the mood dramatically shift for this.
Oh, man. Okay. Hit me with it.
Yeah. Rot eats the corpses and turns them into dirt. Plants eat up the soil and grow their leaves and fruit. Some beasts eat that fruit and eat those leaves to grow strong, while others eat the other beasts to stay stronger. Some beasts eat both to survive hard times. All beasts take what they need and feed the rot. Fell is the creature that kills and ravages for want alone. More evil still is the beast that starves the rot in immortality, taking forever until all is taken. But you have seen the Rot King's decaying body. No judge remains to punish the crime, if the Rot King was ever a judge at all. The day of torrential rains pinned our heroes in the husk, or hero, maybe, husk of the forester's shack, and the night of more rain started to starve them. They left behind the ruins in the morning, slumped in the overgrowth like unmade fallen bed sheets. Damp, cold, and hungry, Reggie sees only water and the fish he hopes to catch. You guys are by some water. You're all very hungry. What do you do?
Okay. I was trying not to break while we were messing around during your bit.
Are you guys taking advantage of the fact that I'm looking at pages to read? I can't believe I'm being manipulated like this. Gaslighting.
The problem is the only thing I could think that whole time is, man, the new Lion King reboot sounds really bad. Real depressing.
I thought, isn't that already out?
Yeah, no, it's out, and it's not good.
You haven't seen it.
I don't have to. I just, like, fundamentally, it looks nasty.
Didn't they literally just, like, remake the movie with some very minor edits, except instead of being animated, it's like CGI animals that look like animals, which means the very thing that made the movie compelling is gone?
Yes.
I remember I was working in a movie theater when the live-action remake of Cinderella came out, and it was, like, one of the first ones, and so, like, because we worked there, we would have occasional screenings of the big ones, like, and I want to be clear, this isn't like a benefit, it's very much a, you get to have these movie screenings sometimes, and free passes, or no health care, like, that kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Not that you get given health care for a job that pays that little, but that's also a problem, not, like, negating the problem.
Right.
I remember, like, sitting down in there with everyone else. It was, like, the first time they did a live action, and this one there was a lot of stuff about, like, you know, it was using the fact that CGI was better. It was using these elaborate costuming things and a big budget, and it did something. And then every single one after that was just kind of, hey, the new Cinderella made money. Let's keep doing this. Like, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, no matter what they do, any movie they make will never be as bad as Mars Needs Moms.
Oh.
Which, I mean, goes down in history as the biggest flop, the biggest financial loss in animation history. Good job, Disney. You did it. You nailed it on that one.
That was a Disney movie?
That was a Disney movie.
Oh.
Oof.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to think about what's going on. That being said, I'm going to briefly Google a little bit of lore here.
Okay.
But, Will, you make up the lore.
So there was a movie called Roller Town. Okay. Does this ring any bells for anyone?
No.
That makes sense, because nobody saw this fucking movie.
Nice. I'm glad to hear it.
It was made by Picnic Face, which is like a Canadian sketch comedy thing. They've done, like, they're actually decently funny.
Oh,
it was just like,
you've told me about this. I'm fairly certain
you remember
told me
Picnic
about
Face.
this.
And I can't find the, oh, here it is. There's like the technical specs, the details. If I remember correctly, when it was released in theaters, oh, here we go. Release dates. We got some release dates. No, never mind. That's got nothing for me. I guess those stats are gone, but when it was released in theaters, the number of, like, tickets sold was less than the total number of people who worked on the movie.
Ooh.
Nice. That's, oh, God.
And that's not even like a, we just lost a lot of studio execs a lot of money kind of failure. That's just like a personal dagger failure. That just hurts.
That's harsh. That's like the one dude who was running for a campaign and he only got like 3 votes, but he has 8 family members.
Yeah. Man.
I feel like we probably shouldn't joke about this too much, because then we're going to look down at the number of people who, like, repeatedly watch our streams and be like, hey, that's lower than the number of parents we have.
Well,
my parents don't know that we stream.
My parents can't watch us stream because they live out in the boonies and have no internet.
I've tried to bring up streaming around Chelsea's parents, and my shins hurt real bad, so...
I don't even know what joke you just made there.
You kick me.
Oh, I kick you. Okay, I see.
Yeah, my parents are aware that this is happening, and it happens basically when their bedtime hits, so I'm pretty sure they're never going to see this.
Nice.
And I know you might be thinking, but it's 8 p.m., to which I say,
Yes.
7 p.m.'s the bedtime, and sometimes they get adventurous. Speaking of adventurous, time to bring it back on track again, and presumably fail again. You guys are at a high pool a little ways away from the crumbling forest tower.
Hey, Reggie, what you doing?
Well, guess I'm gonna try and get us some fish. You got a spear ready?
I do.
All right.
I think I have a spear. I didn't write down the stuff that I had last time. I had...
You have a
woodcutter
stick?
axe.
I have an axe and a stick. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
So yeah, a spear. I have a spear.
All
I will
right.
assist.
Let's see. I'm gonna call a fish towards me.
All right, and so then the two of you with spears, if you want to give that a weapon roll.
I would love to.
That's a 12.
12, all right.
To call
My
the
hands are too
fishes.
sweaty to open the dang dice. Okay.
I thought it was me that's doing it.
We both have spears.
Oh! Okay, so both me and Gabe are doing weapon rolls?
Mhm.
Okay.
I forgot how I built Twig for a second. Ooh. Yeah, that's a 5.
14.
All right, so Reggie, you called the fish in close, and Salas, you're ready to strike, and you manage to spear one of them. Should be enough for all of you to eat at least a little bit, and it's not the sort of thing where you would sit there and go, well, let's just wait to catch another one. You've got a fish, and you're feeling lucky, and you have one now. As you're sort of picking it up out of the water in that swift motion of, like, spear, like, you're making sure you got it, and then you're pulling it out, like, the because you get it out of the water is when Twig's like, ah, and spears nothing.
Oh. Hey, Reggie. Do fish feel pain?
Well,
No.
Okay, thanks, Alice.
whatever. Gonna argue,
You
but
you guys have a stabbed fish. You quickly make sure it's dispatched on a nearby rock at the edge of the water, and now you have a dead fish. You don't have a fireplace. You don't have wood. You're out here in the woods.
Let's collect some wood.
It's not raining, is it?
The rain lit up. You were sort of pinned to
Okay.
that forester shack for a day and a night, and so now
I see.
you're finally out, and you haven't eaten in a while. And Salas is fine. Salas had his one meal that's probably going to last the entire proving, but the other two of you need something to eat.
I'm gonna
Oh.
grow some wood. That way it's
Oh.
nice and dry.
That's
a good idea.
not how.
That's not how it works
trees
at all,
work.
but you know what? I don't care.
Oh.
It's a solid 13.
13. You sort of like dig your fingers into the dirt. By now, you've had some time to get accustomed to sort of the feel of the forest, so you know right where to go for the real juicy stuff. And you draw out a sort of sprout that grows to a couple twigs that grows into a little bush that withers and then dies all crispy. You grab it and sort of crunch it, and they're smaller sticks, but it's enough that you could start a fire. The sort of central stem could keep it going for a little while, just enough to cook, but otherwise you don't have much more firewood from that.
I'm looking for a dead tree.
You find one. The first one that you encounter is way too rotten. Roll science.
Goodness. It's
Science or delicate.
Well, delicate is a lot better than science.
I'm assuming science of 1, delicate of 3?
That's a 19 delicate.
Yes, actually, exactly.
All right, so you're walking around the forest, and every time you come across some deadfall, you give it a kick, you give it a tap, you give it a knock, and eventually you find a space sort of sheltered underneath a tree where you can get a nice thick sort of like chunk of twig, big enough that you're sort of going like and carrying it behind you, but you can chop off a good few logs to make this last longer for heat if you need to.
I drop it at Salus's feet and say, "Ta-da!"
Awesome. Let's get a fire going.
Okay.
All right. Who's chopping the wood and who's starting the fire?
Does anybody have any survival? Do I have survival skills? No.
We don't really need survive skill to chop the wood, right? Like,
But to start the fire. I
need someone to make a 25 brawn roll.
I'll do it then.
Right.
Brawn is my good stand.
Ooh.
I will do elemental. To light
You don't need
fire.
to roll. You would just be like lighting the fire.
Okay, perfect.
Crap, I didn't roll very well. That is a 16 on that roll. Hell yeah.
All right, so you grab Salus's rusty axe. It's kind of like it's got a bit of a faint jiggle, the kind of thing you would never see, you would never hear, you just feel when you hold the haft and you kind of frown. It's rusty and dull, so instead of being able to sort of just cleave, cut through, cleave, cut through like you would with most dry wood, with this one you kind of have to pull your blows, you have to be a lot more deliberate and exact and really sort of wear down the wood so you don't break the axe, but you manage to make through it after a while and you've got a decent bit of firewood. You cook up the fish, and even though it nourishes you, you start to feel like a grumbling in the gut. Not like a sudden pang, just it slowly sets in, and by the time you're like halfway through your ration of fish, you can't stomach it anymore. You have to have something else in your diet.
Ew. Berries, maybe?
I climb up the nearest tree to look for berries.
You go to climb up and you get a few sort of branches up and you look and you see trees. And they block the bushes underneath you.
No berries up here.
Well, that is how that works, yes. I guess we need to go looking in the forest. We need to just kind of, walk around, see what we see.
I experimentally munch on some of the leaves up here.
Okay, roll long odds.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, even. That's an even and an odd.
An even and an odd. You eat the leaf and it's bitter as shit. You choke it down. And you get sort of a little bit of a dagger to the gut, just enough to double you over a few times, and then it fades. You don't want to eat any more leaves.
See, I thought the long odds were going to be, is it carnivorous trees or is it deciduous trees?
Mr. Reggie, I don't feel so good.
Well, that's because you're eating random trees. I'd stick to identified berries. Don't start eating random berries.
Oh.
Speaking of identified, there's something that none of you recognize that sort of pops out into the clearing for a brief moment. It's the size of like a small to medium-sized dog. It's sort of loose and haggard. It looks like almost like dog paws, but it's got a little hog snout and some tusks. It's very thin and lithe, like a fox almost. Leans down, gets a little drink of water, looks at you, and then sort of just barrels off into the woods.
Oh, when it bends down to drink, I'm trying to tackle it.
All right. Roll weapon.
Oh, damn it. Now, is this an attack? Can I...
If you're trying to get a hold on it, it's 100% an attack.
It's a grapple.
Okay. Then I go running at it, yelling, "Ah! Come back here, piglet!" And that's me using, I forget what it's called, but I can add performance to my roll. That is a 21.
Wait, there's a benefit where you get to add performance to your roll?
Yeah, trash talk.
Oh, those would be two separate attacks.
Oh, shit, you're right. Yeah, so then it's just the one, which was a 5.
Okay. You said a 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so you rush towards this thing, and it sees you, and it actually, like it sees you coming just in time to get away from the first strike. It goads you, and then it rushes you through the brush. It's faster than you, but it takes you too long to notice that it's leading you off into the distance. You take 20 damage after sort of rushing through brush and cutting yourself up and diving over logs to try and get this thing before it skirts away into the brush. You're covered in all sorts of, like, it's one of those things where none of them are anything remotely shallow, but you're covered in 1,000 minuscule scrapes and cuts and bruises.
Ugh, damn it.
Now that seemed like a poor decision.
You wouldn't be saying that if I had caught it.
If you were still as cut up, I would still say it's a poor decision.
Well, maybe the next one I catch, you won't get any.
Oh, you didn't catch this thing.
Oh, no, I know.
Well, we still need to find something a little bit, more. So let's go find something else. I'm gonna go. Yeah. At that, I'm gonna like wander off a little bit and try and find some berries.
Okay. As you look around the nearby area, you don't find any berries whatsoever. You're close to the forest tower. You're near sort of like a high pool, and you can hear a distant trickle of some waterfalls in both. Based on the sun, you'd guess north and south directions. You know you're not too far from the warehouse still, but you're up a ridge. You're upland.
Okay.
You can just sort of go into the woods away from here, though.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go into the woods. I'm looking for food.
Into the woods.
Into the woods.
I go.
So you make your way shallowly through the pool. There's a long roundabout way to avoid getting wet, but it's way easier to just deal with it and go right through.
Yeah.
Takes a little while for you to dry. You make your way along the ridge. You find the edge where you can't get further because you try to go that way first initially, but it's not a safe descent, so you avoid it. Here the woods are wide, the trees are thick, the ground is very sparse, very open. There's some ground cover plants, but they're sort of in patches. You almost feel like you could fight in here with weapon in hand. It's very loose. You can see... Well, you're not sure if you can see near or far. You see a tableau of trees that are further and closer that kind of just blend together. The treetops ahead block out a lot of the light.
I think I want to, like, sort of stretch out with Madrudness and just be like... Just try and feel where there would be, like, fertile soil or, like, where there would be good, like, edible fruit growing. Like, see what I can actually get out of the ground. See what I can hear if I call out to the ground.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know which dice I just rolled. You know that moment where you have a bunch of dice in front of you when you rolled and they all just kind of compile into a thing?
Yeah, you're like, I'm just going to roll a few d6 next to my pile of d6, and then you just have a pile of d6.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Which is a shame because I saw 2 6s in there. But it's okay, I rolled all right for this. 14.
14. You look around, and as you stand more upright, you get a little bit closer to the canopy a little. It doesn't feel right. You get low to the ground, and things feel a little better. In the area between the trees where things are tramped down, it's sort of just... There's a leaf litter, and underneath you can feel sort of like the rotting and eating and growing of life. But out towards sort of like closer to the base of the trees is where there's a bunch of plants that are clustered up. There's vines and that sort of thing. You're sort of like almost to the point where you're on your hands and knees. Would Reggie go down on his hands and knees?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so you get nice and low and you start like crawling hand and foot. You get real close to the plants, you look around, and then for a brief moment, you look, and there's a tree, and 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 for a brief moment, real far off, you see that same like hognose looking thing eat something from the base of a tree and then disappear to where you can't see it anymore.
I'm gonna try and go to that spot, see what he was eating.
You're still a middle-aged man, so you get back onto your hind legs. And you make your way through the trees and you get low. You can see that there's sort of like a rooted up area where something's been yanked out of the ground. You don't need to roll for this. You recognize it immediately. It's just there's just straight up garlic. And you look down and you see there's a stalk. You go to yank on it and there's more garlic.
We got
Nice.
garlic. Would have been nice to have this before, maybe put a little bit on the fish. Oh man, could do with some olive oil, would have gone real well frying that up.
Coward, and I take a bite of garlic.
It's strong, but compared to just nothing but fish for 3 days, it is a welcome strong. Like it's definitely a very powerful sensory experience, but like you sort of take it like a drug thing. Like it's intense, but it's happening to you, you know? You definitely just ate a mouthful of garlic. Roll brawn.
Not to be outdone, Reggie is going to do
5.
the exact same thing.
I got a 5.
You get the weirdest urge. You feel like you're about to puke, and so you go and you see that there's this big broad-leafed plant nearby, and just through dumb luck, emphasis on the dumb for twig, you just grab it. You're like, oh, this looks like lettuce, and you chew on it, and it's not half bad, and it settles your stomach a bit. And it's almost like a magic eye, like you start to see, like all of you guys start to see, now that you're in the woods, that these things really are everywhere. Underneath a tree, there's one. There's some garlic over underneath that tree, and you look around and you see that these are different plants. There's ferns, and there's bushes, and there's vines, and there's things that grow on other things. And you see that hog thing in the distance, deeper within these woods.
Can I, like, tell what makes this area different from the other areas? Like, is like any evidence around as to like what would be giving me that inclination? Like, why we wouldn't be able to find this by the lake or like the river that I passed through, or like anything like that? It
just from your druidic senses, like it feels different. This is a different place. It's like walking into a new town. This is some place where other things live.
See, okay. You guys, I told you, if we just keep eating things, eventually they'll find one that tastes good.
Are you going to say that tastes good? That tasted good?
Well, I don't know about good, but it sure tasted.
I bet.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea to just follow that hog. It seems to be leading us to, like, good food.
And it's been
or
eaten.
It could be leading us to, like, a group of other hogs.
That's true.
I lick my lips, hopefully.
But, like, do we have anything other to do? Like, let's be real here.
Then be mauled by 50 hogs?
30 to 50.
30 to 50 hogs?
Oh, 30 to 50 hogs doesn't seem that bad.
Now, you got to be careful because they might pop up within 3 to 5 minutes of my children playing outside.
Snap.
Snap.
I whirl around towards the snap is.
You see trees.
I throw a clove of garlic out to try and lure out any hogs.
You throw your food and it clatters against the ground, kind of like
30 to 50 of them
as it hits the leaf.
I ready my spear, ready to pounce at whatever comes out to eat the garlic.
You're there. Spear's ready. You're looking at this garlic, and Salas and Reggie, you see Twig just there in the woods, just throwing garlic and going, ha! And waiting.
Nice.
You'll scare him away.
I think this is a game they play in. Okay.
And right next to you, right next to all of you, like behind Twig and then in front of the other two, there's a thump. And Twig, you jump like a mile and you stick your stick deep into the dirt. And you don't actually see what it is. You're on edge. But Reggie and Salas, you both see that a pine cone just falls from a tree and lands in the leaf litter. And Twig goes, ha!
Can we look up and see anything? Like, is there anything actually up there?
You look up and you see all the twigs sort of intermingling and interfingering. You're not sure. And then you see a little squirrely thing go by and then trees.
Good catch. Caught a pine cone.
Oh, if that had been a squirrel, though, we'd all be laughing.
Yeah, fair enough.
I pulled the pine cone out, and I'm about to take an experimental bite.
Now I'm just gonna stop you right there.
Salas sighs.
Maybe you're right. I go gather up the food I threw.
That's definitely one of the things you don't need to bite to know that it's bad.
Well, have you ever eaten a pine cone?
No.
You go and
So how do you know it's bad?
You pick up your garlic off the ground. You've probably eaten enough for a little while at least. You sort of pushed your hunger to the side for a little while, and you're here in the woods. That hog thing is gone now.
Did we
It's
see
just
where
you
it
and
like
the
ran off to or anything like that?
Well, you saw a direction, but after moving, you just sort of you move past a tree and around a tree and under a tree, and you've lost your sense of direction.
Fair enough. This seems like an actually like decent place. I mean, we can just kind of wander about here and gather some stuff for, you know, future.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, I guess. As long as we're not going to go chase the 30 to 50 hogs.
All right.
Oh, next time there won't be a chase. I'm going to spear them as soon as I see them.
So you stay close together. You make your way through the woods, picking up things as you see them. And before too long, Reggie, you're at the head of the group, and you just see trees in front of you, but to the one side you feel foreboding, and to the other side you feel a mix of fear and safety.
Reggie's probably going to move towards the foreboding. He would definitely like investigate the foreboding.
All right, you're near some trees, and the feeling gets a little bit more intense. Not much, just enough that you're like, okay, we're getting a little closer. And there's just this sense like you're an intruder, like you're walking into a cathedral outside a service, and it's just this big empty building. There's this alienation, and then you go to get through, and you see the warehouse. And you see that Johnstone's up top. He sights you, has a bow, doesn't react to you. And you get back away from the warehouse, and you kind of go back to the cozy feeling of the woods.
So I literally just popped up. Johnstone's just like, hey.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? Don't worry. After 3 days, Reggie's still alive. That's good.
This will be reported back.
Yes, yes.
Johnstone will remember this.
All right, well, moving on then.
You move away, skirting around the edge, and you get to the place where you feel a mix of fear and safety. And as you do that, you're making your way through, and all three of you, how are you behaving around this situation? What are you looking at? How are you moving through the woods? Tell me about your experience right now.
I am keeping my eyes at hog level, and I am holding my spear at the hog ready.
I am searching for any evildoers with my. I have my stick out and my axe in the other hand, like not looking at hog level, like above hog level, looking for.
Good. They have both their faces covered.
What about Reggie?
Reggie's kind of having a bit of mixed feelings. Like, when he originally came into the forest, he was just like, what the fuck's going on? I don't know what's happening. Now he's just kind of like, I'm getting it a bit. I'm feeling it a bit. Like, alright, I kind of get what's going on a little bit. You know, like, what the proving is. I kind of get a little bit. I get this feeling. It's definitely strengthening my feels towards plants. I'm definitely understanding what the whole, like, nature thing is. But at the same time, he's still just like, but did I really need to get naked and do all this other shit? And why are these two here? He's still, like, very conflicted. But as to the current situation, he's kind of just like, he's kind of going with the flow of events for a little bit. He's just kind of like, there were hogs. Now the hogs are gone. If the hog comes back with 30 to 50 more hogs, then he'll worry about it then.
29 to 49.
Sorry, 29 to 49. We would hate to face 31 to 51 hogs.
Yeah, that's too much, even for an assault rifle.
That's potentially one more hog than you could handle. You'd be gored, you'd be done. Bum rushed.
Yep.
I love that feral hogs meme, because it's just one of those things that's just like, it's supposed to be a defense, being like, well, this is a situation where you might need this kind of weapon, and it's like, just say you like the gun that does the big pew pew and you want to shoot it, except you can...
Yeah, the 30 or 50 wild hogs meme was one of the things where I just like, I read up on it, asked people what the fuck it meant, like, really tried to understand this meme, and was just like, I just don't get it, but okay.
It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so you're defending the ownership of AR-15s, right? Like, why are you lying? Why are you going, well, I might need to protect my property with this? Like, you realize that in the debate about, like, the use, ownership, and, like, possession of guns, there is space for going, I like big blam blam and want to do things. That's a section of the discussion. We don't need to pretend that there's a hypothetical scenario where you and your family are going to be attacked by hogs like a horror movie.
It's like, the thing is,
30 to 50 of them.
30 to 50.
Feral hogs are a legitimate, like, pest and threat, and you don't want to cross them. But also,
yeah,
30 to 50? 30 to 50? What if they came out within 3 to 5 minutes?
Like, are they coming in phalanx? Is there, like, a main wave and there's flanking forces?
Oh my god, it's great. Because what they do is they put their snout to the ground and they just, like, shovel in a line, and then the back line moves forward to shovel while the other ones, like flip up the dirt, just wrecking an entire property.
And that's the thing. That's how they get through, and it's a dust cover. You need to be ready, and then they just emerge from the dust like a hell beast, like a swarm. And the feral hogs have come.
And if you don't have your AR-15, what are you going to do?
I watched Tremors the other day, and there's a scene where there's these gun nuts that are in a basement, and they're like getting failed radio communications from everybody in town, being like, you have to get out of your basement, these things dig in the ground, these monsters. And they're like, nah, we got everything. And they like, it's a wall full of elephant guns. And it does this pivot, because I'm used to seeing modern movies where there's the caveat where it's like, having the basement full of guns doesn't actually make sense the more you think about it. But like, then the conceit of the movie is just like, this thing comes through the wall, and there's a scene of them picking guns up off the wall, shooting them till they run out of ammo, picking a different gun up, shooting it till it runs out of ammo, and just going, like using half of it. And then they're like, see, they attacked the right room at the right time. And then they pack a bag of essentials and go upstairs for the rest of them. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, there's no thesis about this is kind of weird. This is actually just making the argument of, well, if they attack your gun room, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, and I think he also at that point, or sorry, at a different point in the movie, shoots one of them through a car. And God, that's a great scene.
Tremors just makes me happy because it operates on simple logic of going blam blam and making the bad guys go away, and that is just so... In a world that is complicated, the easy movies make you feel happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I posted a picture of the only feral hog I would justify using an assault rifle on. And that is Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Fair.
I think
so. For the
our
viewers,
dog has something in her mouth, just by the way she's acting.
Okay,
I'm
you
gonna
go
be
chase
right
Maya.
for the context for the viewers at home, like it's just there's nothing lewd about the image, but for some reason, because it's fan art, there's something that feels pornographic about it, and I'm gonna click away now.
What do you mean fan art? This is from the official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wiki.
Okay, then why?
Here's the dice you dropped.
Oh, puppy!
Then
Wow.
is this projection or okay? Moving.
Yeah, it's projection.
We're playing a game in front of an audience. So you guys are in the woods. Reggie, you're getting used to sort of the feeling of the proving, and you're sort of skirting far around the edge of the warehouse, getting to know sort of like you're not sure what's going on. Twig, you're just behind everyone, stick in hand, and it's getting harder and harder to move, but you're not thinking about it. Salus, you're in front, and you've got both the weapons out. And as you're trying to make your way through the woods cautiously, things get thicker and thicker, and the branches are lower and lower. And Reggie, you're approaching, and your instinct is to get low and follow, and you're sort of on your hands and knees until things are dense, and then you stand up. And it's like before with all these trees around, but they're a bit further apart, and the area around here is all just like thick, low brush. You can hear all sorts of chittering and skittering around in the nearby area.
Okay.
Just like when you went into sort of the sparse woods where it felt like walking into a new town, this is a different town.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess there's something we can find here.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Still looking for those fucking hogs.
Well, yeah.
Maya agrees.
Maya agrees. Fuck those hogs.
She agrees.
You get to a point where sort of the earth shifts and twists a little. There's a way where you can go up to a ridge that you can tell is going to be a large ridge, or you can sort of stay down here where it's low.
What time of day is it?
By now, it's getting closer to like later half of noon, closer to the early afternoon.
We probably have time to go up there. It would give us a decent view of the area, I guess.
Okay.
We can go up there,
Alright.
get a decent view.
So you're making your way through the forest, you make your way up. You have to go on your hands and sort of scamper up, grab some trees and roots to get over a few ridges, but you get up to the edge of the ridge, and then it's just a matter of going through the forest further and further. It's almost like walking around in shallow water, except it's all sort of this mid-height brush. You're moving around with your arms up, kind of woof, woof. Twig in particular, you're being scratched over your existing scratches.
Mm-hmm.
And you make it to a point where there's a little opening close to the edge where it's kind of craggy, and you can see over this area not much. Now that you've been around in the woods in a while, you can notice like there's the like sparse tree woods, the low brush woods, there's the river in the distance, and you can see a bit of the washout from here actually, but there's just enough like thick brush and just the right angle where you can't see the warehouse at all. Beyond that, the terrain just shows trees and you can't see much at all.
Remind me again why you left that big clearing full of garlic?
Because we thought we could find some better garlic.
I haven't seen any better garlic.
Well, there was also the hog. I mean, we chased the hog.
Thought you... I'm trying to think here right before. Chasing the hog was a bad idea.
Twig, as you say, like, looking for garlic, and you're looking down around you at your feet, there's a whole bunch of the low brush nearby that you notice going, like, as if I'm trying to make sure the camera has it for dramatic effect. It's kind of like a brush.
I throw my spear at it.
You miss. You're too far, but you can see it off the distance.
I mean, can I like call out to that with like Grove Druid senses and just to be like, hello, want to come out? Say hi?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
I have a feeling I know what the answer would be.
Ah, drop the dice.
Maya.
That would be a 10.
All right. You listen out with your feelings. You're trying to call, be like, hello, friend, but it's not working, and not in like a your magic is failing way, like in a you can't convince these creatures. You can feel the sort of essence of the forest around you feels a little bit hostile in a defensive way. These things don't want to see you as long as you're seeking to see them. You're not welcome in this part of the forest.
Well, that's very interesting. I mean, we always just, you know, camp, and then, like, if we ended up camping here, they probably would attack us while we were sleeping.
You actually see a swath. You're not sure if it's a meadow or what, but there's an area further off below the ridge where there's, like, not a lot of trees. It moves back towards the washout and towards the road.
Probably be a decent place to, you know, set up for the night, right? Not a lot of trees around. Be able to see a little bit better.
Also be seen a little bit better.
Be seen a little bit better.
Do you think there'll be hogs?
I mean, there's not a 0% chance there will be hogs.
I can't do math. Let's go.
All right. You guys move forward. You have to go sort of the length of the ridge, and then eventually you reach the bottom of it again, and you're back to like the thick of things. You're still in sort of that low brush where the trees clear and the low brush stays. From here, you're in a clearing where you can see there's a lot of young trees that are a few years old, that, you know, like juvenile. They've got some strength to them that you can feel. But otherwise, the area around here is all just low. And there's a few spots where the earth feels strange. It bulges up and down into these weird clumps. As you move forward and inspect and you push, you see that it's kind of just the earth growing around dying stumps.
So there's rot, you say?
So
there was. It doesn't feel super rotten anymore.
I'm gonna go look for firewood.
All right. So, Twig, you head off into the woods. You're looking around. There's all this low brush. There's a lot of trees with branches in front of you. What sort of firewood are you looking for? How specifically are you seeking the right wood to burn?
I'm looking for a dry, dead tree and a big rock to smack it with until bits come off. Like, you know, dead branches or... You know, it's pretty brittle, so I'm just planning to whack at the smaller bits. It'll come off, and then I'll have a big bundle of sticks.
All right. So you're upright, sort of midriff height in all this brush, and eventually you see a bit where, like, the plants have cleared away in a rough, like, long blob. So you get low into the brush, and you're looking. You get to where this tree is while you're low in the brush. And you see just briefly a little chipmunk go over the log and out into the distance. And you hear another chipmunk.
Can
And then Crack! Right in front of you, a pine cone. And when you look up, you see something leave the canopy, and you don't see it anymore.
Can I make chipmunk noises? Can I roll performance to make chipmunk noises to try and lure them out within spear distance?
Yeah, go for it.
I go...
I think that's a chickadee.
Oh, shit. I rolled a 17.
17. All right. And what are Salas and Reggie doing right now in the clearing?
Salas is looking at Twig weirdly.
So yeah, you see Twig like low in the brush and then moving away from your line of sight. You would have to follow into the away from the clearing. Are you going to do that?
No. I'm just going to let him do him.
All right. So you hear in the distance. Reggie, what's Reggie doing?
I feel like Reggie probably went off in a completely different direction from Twig to look for firewood or something to help him set up camp.
All right, you're looking around. You're trying to find like a nice hollow, a nice open spot. You're looking on the ground for areas where you could actually like lay out and stretch and hide and sleep. But around here, it really is kind of close and dense. You might have to leave this part of the forest altogether. You're not the right size for it. And as that happens, you see a pine cone fall nearby, and something in the canopy leave.
Those squirrels don't really like us very much.
Well, they're going to like me, because I know how to speak to them. As I continue going...
Yeah, I'm pretty positive you're in fact talking to a chickadee. Reggie's gonna pick up the pine cone and just kind of not like football toss it, but like sort of like gently toss like you would be passing a ball to a child. Just like gently toss the pine cone back into the tree.
Like up?
Yeah.
You go, and then it lands like a meter away from you.
Well, I'm not playing catch.
And as it lands again, you're paying attention, it lands, and you hear a bit of shuffling somewhere in the woods. A quarter second, very quiet, you're not sure.
Sorry, can you repeat? I was very distracted by the fucking lamp falling.
By the falling lamp, yeah. So as you sort of toss that pine cone up, it sort of does this big, tall, but not a lot of distance arc and lands a meter away. And as it lands, you hear other things like just sort of shifting. Let's apply it again.
Gonna kind of like grab the pine cone and just be like, you don't need to throw pine cones at us. We're just here. We're not invading.
I did Google the noise that chipmunks make, so I'm ready for my more accurate portrayal. And they kind of go, wait, shit, up.
Thank you.
Thank you for this performance.
Very cool.
I'm really glad
We're
I came to
proud
your
of
TED
you.
Talk.
You bring important and valuable content to this show.
They make like a clicking sound.
All right, so Salas, you're in the middle of this clearing. You hear on the one side like a someone trying to figure it out, like and then you hear a half convincing chipmunk, and in the other direction you hear, "Hey, you can have your pine cone back. Got your pine," and you're like, "I got your pine," and you're sort of like looking back, looking forth. And as you're looking back for a brief moment, you see something large with too many limbs that's furry and fast moving through the tree line. and you don't see it anymore.
Oh gosh. I'm on guard. I have my weapons out. I start wandering in the direction that I saw it going.
All right, you make your way through, and you end up close to Reggie.
Reggie,
Yeah.
I saw something.
Well, what did you see?
I don't know. There's a limbed beast.
A lot of beasts are limbed.
No, it had like limbs though.
It had limbs though. Fuck.
It had, yeah.
So, Twig, you're looking around, and you found this log. And you made the chipmunk noises, but eventually they don't come out. It doesn't work, and you're like, dang it. And you look for a rock, and you find one that's too small, and then a little too big. And then there's one that's right, but it doesn't feel right. And just as you're looking to another incorrect, too big rock that you wouldn't be able to carry, you see that it's got a fresh spattering on it. It looks like blood.
I'm on the alert. I got my stick up. I'm looking.
You have your stick up. You're looking around. You look through the trees, through the trunks. There's some that are close, some that are far. You almost lose yourself for a moment when you see a squirrel go through a clearing, but you pause, and then you hear you look up from the rock and the blood pile, and you see that there's just a mostly meatless, shredded thing that's sort of draped over a tree. It looks like it was one of those hog things.
Damn it! That could have been me. Killing the hog.
Yeah, I was gonna say, damn it, it could have been me that was strung up and fucking gutted and...
Millennials be like...
Well, now seems like a good time to group up with the others.
Not gonna lie, that sounds like a pretty solid hashtag millennial meme.
Dang it, I could have eviscerated that hog creature.
That could have been me with hog blood dripping from my victorious mouth.
So you make your way back into the clearing, and nobody's in the clearing. Salas and Reggie, you've met, and you're talking about this thing with many limbs. And then further off, further away from the clearing, you hear like a scurrying, like something big running fast, and you hear like and then it's almost like something about to make a big noise, and it's silence, and you hear like another skittering, like a, and there's
I'm stalking towards the noise with my spear at the ready.
Yeah, Reggie's just going full bore towards it. Which is probably not good considering it eviscerated the boar.
I will follow in his lead.
All right, as you're running in this direction and you get close, you see that there's a freshly eviscerated boar, and you see a number, like maybe 3 or 4 of these things skitter off back towards the clearing, and you just see one of them looking up. It's like, it looks almost like a sloth of some sort. It has this overlarge mouth with these long, sharp jaws, and it's got 6 limbs, all with like long, razor-sharp claws. You can see that it's got them dug deep into this thing. And it's in the midst of eating, and it's just paused with a mouthful, and you can see its mouth like most of the way around this hog thing's throat. It's quiet dripping as it just watches you.
I'm following Reggie's lead.
Does this thing, like, obviously this isn't a normal creature that I would understand what the fuck it is, but does it feel like this creature belongs here, or is it like an invader like we are?
It feels like it's an invader just like you are.
Well, that's...
Twig,
Interesting.
Twig is in the clearing.
I make a
know where your
chipmunk
friends
noises to
are.
myself to stay sane.
All right, roll performance.
Just stay sane.
That is a 13.
13. You make passable, conspicuous pause, chipmunk noises. Woohoo! And you're here in the middle of this clearing. You don't see anything. You don't hear anything. What do? Your friends are gone. It's just you.
Oh, they'll come back. I got my stick at the ready, and I'm looking for hogs or squirrels,
Oh my goodness.
or maybe a big skittery thing.
All right. You're looking around. You're looking for big, skittery things, hogs, squirrels. And you don't see anything in the woods from here unless you get closer. But otherwise, you're in the middle of this clearing. Salas and...
Man, Doggo has energy tonight. Doggo's been good for us, but Doggo has energy tonight.
There she goes.
Maya's doing big borks, gotta be carried off.
She actually, it's been all day. Last night, she barked a couple of times during the night, and like, it's because she got a haircut yesterday.
All these new feels.
Yeah, she was really fluffy, like criminally fluffy, and now
Like-
she's like totally shaved.
Mm.
She has been banished to the bedroom,
Banished.
along with my
Horrid.
sibling.
You guys are Reggie and Salas. You're here in the woods. This thing's draped over the tree. And in the moment it takes you to maybe like think about looking towards the edge of the tree line, the thing takes the moment that you break eye contact. And it skitters like a squirrel, so it's on the opposite side of the tree, and you can just see a couple thin little blade-like dark nails wrapped around the edge of the tree.
It's like a very fast sloth. Just with several more limbs.
Yeah.
If sloths ever breed with spiders.
No.
Oh, just kind of be like, Zealous, how do you feel about taking this on?
I'm ready.
You ready? Well, let me just get the feeling about how this creature acts. And just kind of gonna do the, like... The weird thing that I never understand why people do is they always, like, reach out their hands and they're just like, whoa. Like... and just kind of like talk to it a little bit and see how it reacts.
All right, roll that roll.
I can still hear her
That's
squeaking
a
a toy
12.
in the bedroom.
Can you guys hear her squeaking?
No.
Okay.
So what'd you get?
12.
12. You're feeling, and you're not feeling anything from this thing. It's giving you dead air. It's just still. You don't sense a game plan. You're just listening, and it's hiding.
It's
Twig.
a dark one.
Twig
Hello.
is... So you're in this clearing, and then you see something big fall from a tree off on the edge of the clearing, and it goes honk into the forest, and there's a bunch of birds that fly off.
I snarl at it with my stick raised.
Nothing seems to have moved. You're still in the middle of this clearing.
I whirl around behind me to see if there's anything, and if there isn't, I whirl around back.
You're just pacing, checking all your sides. You sort of 6, third turn. You flip around behind you. You're just in the middle of this clearing. Good minute passes. Nothing.
I hope it's hogs. I hope it's hogs.
Man, actively encouraging that 30 to 50 wild hogs. Well, I guess the numbers have been reduced to like, I don't know, 26 and like 30 or in like 56 probably, or 46 at this
46.
point.
Right, Twig is in that clearing. After this thing fell, you didn't see anything else happen, and you think you smell blood.
Go investigate.
Just growling at the blood.
Yeah, I'm just growling. I'm in the middle of the clearing, growling.
All right, you hold your ground. Salus and Reggie.
I'm gonna be like,
I have my spear ready to go.
I'm just gonna be like, let's try and get to the clearing. Let's startle this thing so we can get there, and you know it doesn't follow us. If you shoot to the right, it'll probably move to the left, around the other side of the tree. At that point, I'll bash it, and we make a break for it. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. So, yeah.
So you see the tree ahead. This thing's wrapped behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the hog sort of draped from a branch above.
Yeah.
So Salus is throwing the spear to one side, and then Reggie, you're going to...
Or like an elemental blast. Like, it's just one of those things I want it to be like, ooh, startly thing. And then, like, me run up the other side and, like, hit it, and we just get out of the way.
I shoot a force blast to the right side of the tree.
All right, you blast this thing, and with the wall up, this thing starts skittering off. Reggie, you run towards it, and by the time you get around to the other side of the tree, you see that it's gone up into the canopy and out deep into the woods alone. You're alone.
Well, let's get the fuck back to the clearing.
Agreed.
All right. Reggie and Salus, you start making your way through. You're getting closer and closer to the clearing, and that's when you halt, because there's a pine cone that falls right in front of you.
I immediately search like the tops of the trees.
All right, you look up, and you have your spear ready, and you see 2 of these things slink and hide behind some trees.
Are they throwing them? Can I look around? Are there like pine cones dangling from the trees? Okay, they're throwing pine cones at us.
Reggie's gonna grab the pine cone and just kind of be like, well, that's one less pine cone for them to throw at us. Either they're setting a trap, or, I don't know. I genuinely do not know why they would throw pine cones if not to set a trap for us.
I pick up a rock and I throw it at the tree.
All right, so as Reggie and Salus, you're going and picking up some stuff. You get ready and you see these things skitter off. And then there's another pine cone that comes and helps you from behind. You look around and another one of these things hides behind a tree. There's another pine cone from behind. You look and it slinks behind a tree. Through the corner of your eye, you see that you can make a break for the clearing.
I just really like the fact that they're just hit and run guerrilla tactics. It reminds me of the 2 weasels from Ice Age 2. Because their entire introduction is the main 3 people are trying to catch them, and they just keep like popping out of holes and hitting them.
See, that's not a deep cut, but that is a scratch a mile long.
I don't know if I would go with Ice Age 2 as being the sort of thing you can reference being like, you know, in Ice Age 2? Ice Age 1 maybe, but Ice Age 2 is just enough where it's like, I feel like it has to be, okay, so there's this bit in Ice Age 2. Like, there isn't assumed Ice Age 2 lore in the average person day to day.
I'm sorry.
No.
Like, yes, there is. There is assumed Ice Age 2 lore. If you don't have the entire filmography of Queen Latifah memorized, then...
If you held me at gunpoint and told me to tell you which Ice Age movie was the one with dinosaurs in it, I would tell you to pull the trigger.
No, you don't need that much lore. Only Ice Age 2 is the limit on that one.
Ice Age 1 was like a passable movie, and all the others blend together into a big blur of weird children's entertainment.
I don't remember the plot to any of the Ice Age movies.
It's because they're just like stimulus designed to keep an 8-year-old busy so their parents can rest for 2 hours. After the first few, that's all it is. It's just flashing lights and little Timmy's distracted and mom and dad can go and stare at a wall for a half hour and just be silent for a moment.
But the thing is, there's these little bits that's like that cling to your brain, like the part where the two mammoths were gonna fuck, but then the one mammoth is like, we have to fuck for our species, we're the last two, and she's like, I thought you were doing this for love. I thought this was gonna be love making. I'm not gonna fuck you anymore. And then they find a bunch of other mammoths, and she's like, okay, now we can.
It's just weird. Those movies are just weird.
Yes, they are.
So you can make a break for the clearing.
Make a break for the clearing.
I follow.
Right. Okay, so Reggie, you start forging forward through all this brush. Sal, as you follow, and there's like pelt, pelt, pelt from a few different pine cones. And as you're getting to the edge, both of you roll delicate.
Oh, you jerk. Fuck. It's a 7.
7, all right.
I rolled a 1. It's as low as I can go.
24.
All right, so Twig, you see Reggie and Salas making their way back into the clearing. Salas just barely avoids narrowly one of these things falling into the brush, and then you see it scamper and try to get back up a tree as quick as it can. This thing, however, falls right on Reggie, and Salas, you're turning around right as you hit the clearing, ready, and you see that Reggie has this thing like with an arm around like halfway over his face, the other one like clawing at his side. It's like wrapping arms around him. You feel this thing dig in, and luckily the first go when it fell on you, it tried to do a deep gash, but it hit your shell. That being said, this thing has you, and it is just furiously scratching you.
I go to help him.
All right, you rush forward. This thing is off turn, attack kind of thing.
While all this is happening, I'm letting loose a blood-curdling feral shriek, and that's me using trash talk to try and scare this thing.
So the first attack against you is an 18. The second one, that would be 23.
Oh, fuck. Alright, well, with my lovely 5 threshold, I think I'm going to brace for these attacks. And yeah. Let's see if I can do something about this. The 18, I think I'll probably be able to get. The, what was it, 23? I think I'll have some trouble with, but we'll see. Alright, so for the 18, that is a 15. Oh, yeah. No, that's like 20-something. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I rolled really well for that, and it's a shame because I think I would have been able to break the 23 with that. So I have to roll basically the exact same roll in order to not take damage on this one.
See how it goes.
I did not do that.
I'm sorry, I was trying to psychically send you 6s. I must have fucked up.
Yeah, you sent me 1s instead.
Oh, whoops! I was looking on the wrong side of the. I'm sorry. I was likely looking at the wrong side of the dice.
That'd be 10, 12. That'd be 14. I did not make it, so I take that 23.
All right. So as this thing jumps on you, gut reaction. You just, even though you don't have armor, you're used to it. You close up, and this thing's making cuts places that aren't important. But before long, it starts to. You feel it going into your shell and gouging. Everyone has a turn. Reggie, roll delicate again.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm gonna grab it by the neck.
Okay, that's the best I can roll. 12.
12. This thing lands right next to you, and this thing's slow. It just tries to lunge, and it has you by like an arm, just enough to grasp on. And I'm going to say that, Salas, you intervene before this thing does its next move.
Okay, I'm gonna try to grab it by the neck. Okay, Salas has like.
Salas has a lot of abilities.
He has like a grapple thing.
He has Florentine, which I think is +3 if you have a hand open. If you have like a one-handed weapon and a hand open.
That'd be duelist, but yeah.
Duelist, yes.
Duelist. Okay.
Yep, so it would be +3 and then like a weapon roll otherwise.
Yeah, well, as I'm going to grab it, I'll drop the axe so that I can do this. Okay. And then what do I roll for that? To grab it?
Just weapon +3.
Weapon +3. Weapon +3. Ooh, that was not a good roll.
I feel
14.
that.
14. So you rush and you manage to grab a hold of this thing, and you get underneath and towards its midsection, and you're pulling. And as that happens, Reggie, you feel this thing kind of grasp into you a little harder, but even though it hurts, it's one of those things where it's not reaching for more scratches, it's just stuck, and it's just trying to latch on. As this happens, Salas, roll delicate.
Another not great roll. 15.
15. You manage to move out of the way, and then just like with Reggie for the roll I'm still banking, this thing sort of tries to clamber onto you, and then there's going to be another attack against Reggie for...
Oh, come on!
Another 23.
Well, I used my off turns, right? I used my off turns for that already? Or have they reset because we now have our main turn?
Right, they would reset.
Okay, so I'm gonna use an off turn to brace for this attack, and then I'm fucking countering with a shield bash, alright? I'm gonna fucking cram my shield into this face and just drive it into a goddamn tree.
And you get +10 because I screamed at it.
Well, Salas is 22 to hit. There's another one that goes for you.
10,
Okay.
14. Ah, I only got 19 on that one.
I think I'll just take that. There's no way I can.
Well, it's enough. You slam into a tree.
No, I mean I only got 19 for the brace.
Oh, okay.
I haven't rolled the damage for the thing yet. That does drop me into tired. By 1.
There is one attached to... There's 2 attached to Reginald and 1 attached to Salas, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
For the weapon... oh, I've been forgetting to add my physical to those brace rolls. Can you add... Do you add physical to those brace rolls?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, well, I'll do that in the future. Damage taken is damage taken in my book. So that's a 10, 6. That is a 22 for the shield bash.
And that was with +10 from the...
Yeah, so that would make it a 32.
All right, so you rush past and you crunch this thing into one of the trees, and you hear it sort of, and all its limbs sort of slack, and as you back off, this thing scampers back up the tree, and you can see it leaving you alone.
I'm unleashing another horrendous feral screech. And I'm attacking the one hanging off of Reginald's arm.
All right.
Oh, come on. That is a terrible roll. +2, +1, +1, +7. That's a 16, including that's feral screech.
All right, so you rush forward and jab into this thing. It's the sort of thing where you hit it, it's a wooden stick, so you hit it at the wrong angle with the wrong sort of hit, and it just kind of clobbers it more than stabbing. It's enough to make this thing shriek. Roll delicate twice.
Okay. Oh, come on. Come on. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Fuck! That's a 14 and a 9.
All right, so like as this thing's on Reggie, you jab it. You see that it like leaps towards you as it's trying to grab you, and you back away just enough that it kind of floofs into the brush and it starts trying to clamber back up a tree. So there isn't one on Reggie anymore. One from a different tree drops onto you, and it goes gouge against twig. One for... that'd be... 23. The second for... the second for 25.
23 and 25. Don't think I'm going to be able to block that.
Can I...
you said 23?
Mm-hmm.
I did get a 23.
Can I stonewall him?
Can you... I didn't hear what you said.
Stonewall. The ability that lets me add my...
do you take
yes. You can. Against the second one I'm taking it, I'm guessing?
Yeah, that's a 25. I did get the 23, barely.
But that would give you my 5 threshold from my shield?
Well,
oh wait, no. This thing's already latched on, so against these attacks, it couldn't. You could only stonewall against the falling first.
Okay.
Oof.
I would like to off turn and light this thing on fire, the one that's on me.
All right. The moment that you start singeing this thing, all of them start screeching, and there's a bunch of pine cones that are being pelted from everywhere. They unleash you, and they bolt for the trees, and then the pine cones stop, and then it's quiet. As that happens, you can see that there's squirrels and chipmunks that start to filter back into the woods and stuff from within the clearing and the underbrush you weren't looking at.
They don't like fire.
For now.
Noted.
They definitely do not like fire. And thank God for that.
So how does everybody look? Both in terms of like your health, but like also physically what just happened to you. And the 3 days of being alone in the woods.
There is a dead one on the ground, right? That we killed. No, it fell off and scampered.
Yeah, all of them are still alive.
Well, I have 55 stamina. I'm covered in scratches. I haven't eaten anything but garlic and fish for the past 3 days.
I bet your breath smells really good.
And it smells terrible, but it doesn't smell too good to start with. The fig leaf is barely hanging on. I'm dirty. I'm muddy. I have a feral look in my eyes and a big grin with one tooth missing.
All right. How about Salas?
Salas has 78. So tired, but not really struggling here. Covered in scratches, but doing okay. Still totally naked, but that's all right.
He's living his best life.
He's living his life.
And how about Reggie?
Reggie is at 119, so because of Juggernaut, he is tired. but he's not that tired. He's just kind of breathing heavily from moments of exertion. And given the diet, he's actually kind of looking a little bit on the thinner side. Diet of fish and garlic has been, it's a look. It's a look on Reggie.
Try the proving diet.
Yeah.
You guys take a moment to catch your breath. You make sure you're okay. You're all really beaten. And by the time that you're sure these things are gone, you notice that the sky is darkening.
We need to get firewood. Fast.
Yeah.
Let's gather some firewood quick.
I'll go get some firewood. I'll hold like a fireball in my hand as I'm collecting this firewood.
While they're doing that,
Actually, if you're talking about gathering firewood, I would say that the start of this whole debacle with the things in the trees happened just as Twig gathered the last of the firewood you were gathering.
Okay.
So you have firewood.
While they're doing that, I have craft bomb. Can I finagle that into crafting some traps just sort of around the campsite?
Absolutely.
Okay. That is... God, these terrible rolls. That's an 11 for traps.
All right. There's a few places where you reckon you might be able to put, like, some snares and stuff like that, but you're missing a few of the right tools. Instead, you look around and there's a few young trees that you bend and twist in a way where anything coming through here probably is going to make a lot of noise, might make these trees right themselves again. The more that you sit here in the clearing, the darker it gets, the more that you're convinced that this is the last place you should be staying. It's open, It's exposed, and there's woods in every direction.
Does anybody remember how to get to the place with the garlic? That was a good place with the garlic.
With a lot of trees?
Yes.
I don't know, that doesn't seem like the best thing to have all those trees above us.
Well, will it make much of a difference if they can just crawl through the grass while we're sleeping?
Fair.
You guys are still here in this clearing.
Plus garlic.
It's already dark, though.
Garlic.
It might be a significant walk. How far is it?
Garlic.
You guys walked through the forest a good hour or so to get here from the woods. That was before the ridge, so you reckon it would be dark by the time you got back there. You do, however, know that you're close to the washout in the other direction.
The washout seems like a better option. Slightly. It's not as, foresty.
I'll follow you guys, whatever you want to do.
I'm glad you said that, because I want to go to the garlic.
That
Sounds like a terrible idea.
I'm scooping up the firewood to take with us.
All right, you've got an armful of wood, and you have to stop to pick up twigs constantly. So which way are you guys heading?
Reginald, just lead us in the way of the garlic.
Reginald says okay, and then leaves him in the way of the washout.
All right.
You son of a bitch.
It doesn't take long, but you end up actually back out onto the road, and you go a little ways, and you reach the washout. And sure enough, you're not far from those big falls with the little cave. By now, you're starting to see some like purples and pinks in the sky. You can't identify whether or not there's anything in the treetops, which is the red flag.
Well, this would have been the same in the area with the garlic, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But at least in the caves, we might have a better chance because they can't really ambush us there. They can't sneak through it. Salus will have a good vantage point to, light them on fire.
And nothing bad lives in caves.
Well,
Oh, man. Salus is a really bad feeling.
Well, I'm open to ideas. And no, go to the garlic place is not an idea.
Thought we were going to garlic.
Salus is not comfortable going into caves.
Well, shit. We did kind of just wander this entire way, and now we have nowhere to go in tree covers, so it's either go into the caves where there might be a bad thing, or stay out here with the treetops where there's definitely a bad thing.
Can I roll performance?
Pick your poison.
I want to roll performance to go to these things. I want to just start hooting and hollering and going, hey, you drop down dirty sons of bitches, come out and attack us. And I want to see if we get pelted with pine cones.
No, I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
You hear rustling.
Let's go to the caves.
See, now
All right,
that was a
so-
bad idea. That was definitely a bad idea.
So there's Salus holding back Twig. There's Twig dragging Salus, and Reggie just kind of going and walking into the caves. By now it's pitch dark in here. It feels damp. You sort of summon a quick little light, and you get to the place where there was that fork. And it's one of those things where it's really subtle and quiet, and then you notice almost like you're eased into it in a quarter second, and you just drop. Something moves in front of you, and you go, oh, as you see something thin, and you notice it's a feeler, and you look, and coming out of one of the cave faces, taking the entire cave, is a warm thing. And it bypasses you and goes deeper into the cave without recognizing you.
He seems friendly. Weren't you trying to talk to him, Reginald?
Perhaps tonight we don't need to do the whole talking to the giant worm that could potentially eat us, and we'd have to run outside real quick.
Okay.
Like, I'm not misunderstanding this. The worm is just kind of passing by, right? It's not like putting out
Right.
feelers to eat, right? Okay.
It's putting out feelers, and it 100% like saw you, detected all of you, and moved on.
Okay. Something tells me it's not interested in us, and based on past experience, it lacks the decaying stuff, so long as those things don't attack us, we won't be decaying, so the worm won't be an issue.
Makes sense to me.
Roll Grove.
Grove? Alright.
Just for a personal feeling that Reggie has.
That would be a 13.
13. You feel like hot food, and you don't want to eat hot food because hot food attacks you when you try. These things aren't going anywhere near you. They view you as a trap or a hazard as much as anything else.
I mean, we're just kind of a danger to them, so they'll stay away from us. We stay away from them, perhaps. We spend the night, don't get attacked by the frickin' sloth things.
Salus is totally 100% on guard. like looking around, like, okay, sounds good.
I dump my pile of wood in the cave.
All right, you guys get further in. You get to where the corpse was, or at least where you remember it being. You can tell it's here, but it's too dark now to see anything. There's no light from above to help or anything. You find a dark corner. You plonk down the firewood for when you need it. Salus, you just kind of slink as small as you can be. It's kind of cold in here.
Reggie's sitting close to the fire.
All right, you start up the fire, and you're warm a little bit, It's not really helping that much. There's sort of like drafts and stuff in this cave.
Maybe if we all
back and forth, and then
maybe if we all curl up in a big ball, we'll be warmer. And I curl up to Reginald.
I don't think
Come
you
here,
understand
Salvador.
how reptiles work exactly.
actually, strictly speaking, it's one way. The thing with how reptiles work is basically that both of you guys could just cannibalize Twig's heat. And it's almost like a bed where like you equalize the heat around you, so it's like it wouldn't be the same as like a bunch of people huddling together, but there's just a little benefit you'd be able to get from it.
Come here, Salis.
Sure.
Boy, you guys are really cold.
I warned you.
You all sort of try and get close to the fire, all sort of snugged up together. But after like a minute of this fire just being here, you get a stench of burning death. And it's coming right from your fire.
Oh no. Did we make the fire on top of the giant or anything else?
You made it just onto the dirt, but this entire cave's got to be coated.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a good smell. That is not a good smell.
Put it out.
I mean, bad smell isn't necessarily the worst thing for us to
Oh,
encounter.
Braun.
Braun? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
All of us?
No, just Reggie.
Okay.
He wants to sass me because I'm sassing him. Let's see, that's an 8, that's a 10, that's a 16.
Okay, so you're saying this. You're like, it's just a smell. And to Reggie, it is just a smell. You can handle this. And you look at both of your companions that have a look of like, maybe you can, buddy, but not us.
Actually, can I try crushing up a little bit of the garlic and putting it in my nose?
It's not enough. You've eaten all your garlic by now.
Ah!
Just the mental image of fucking Twig with cloves up his nose is beautiful.
Yeah. Salas is gonna put the fire out.
You use your tail and you kind of bap it. It poof, dissipates, and before too long, the coals have faded. And then after a few minutes, the smell gets low, and then it's a while before it's gone. It's dark. You're all sort of wadded up. Salis, you're as small as you can be in the back with these two for cover. So there's absolutely nothing but stone, people, no air, no angles, no nothing. You're just, but you still can't sleep. And it's one of those things where the time just kind of happens. It doesn't feel like you've slept. It feels like you've just been awake and awake and awake, and then it's awake, and eventually at some point a day has passed. You're all kind of chilly, and you can see the light start to filter down, and you can see a vague outline when you reckon it's morning enough, and you can see some of the giant's body. A lot of it started to be eaten away, and you can see that there's big chunks missing from the chest cavity. The head is mostly eaten away, and you can see that the crown itself is largely exposed.
It would appear
Crown
that
is-
the brain is the delicious part.
Mushy.
Juicy. So, let's go find the garlic.
I mean, it is a food source. We do need to find some more food, so... Garlic?
Garlic! Garlic!
No matter where we go, we're going into the trees, so... Might as well be going into the trees with a purpose.
I guess. But we're just gonna get attacked again.
We're gonna get attacked no matter what we do. I mean, we go anywhere, we're going into a forest. There's forest all around us.
But what if, and I run up to the giant, is the giant still warm?
The giant wasn't warm when you fell in.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. I thought we could sort of like tauntaun the situation.
Ew.
That doesn't solve our hunger situation.
Oh, I beg to
Luke did not
differ.
eat the tauntaun.
Yeah, he did. What do you think happened to that corpse once he got the shelter up? Because we don't see it again.
He huddled inside it for the entire night and then got out of it and went, well, that was a fucking terrible experience. Let's never speak of this again, and moved on.
No, because the exact
and then years later, he spoke to his fucking Jedi therapist about it.
I would like to... The exact quote is, here, this smells bad, but it'll keep you warm at least until I get the shelter up. And then in the next scene, you see them in a shelter.
Yeah, around the tauntaun.
No, you don't see the tauntaun. It's just gone. Anyway, point being, it won't work because the giant's cold.
So you leave through the cave mouth.
Moving on from there.
You're in a different sort of... It's almost like a different schedule to the way you would be. Now that you've really sort of attuned yourself to these woods, you wake up and there's just the barest light. You can hear, like, 2 birds. There's no skittering. There's no movement. You just hear water. And it's this weird effect where it's not actually the noise. The noise is normal. It's just the sheer quiet of everything makes you want to be quiet when you step and hush your voices.
I think it would be a good idea if we continue to not get found by them if they don't know where we are.
I agree.
Makes sense to me.
That means be very
are-
quiet, Twig.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
So you guys are on the washout on the road here by the big falls.
I think we're gonna head towards the garlic spot,
Yay!
but very quietly. Reggie
So
is
is
trying to
that-
be as quiet as possible.
So just to be clear, like I drew a map, and the garlic spot could not be further from you. Like it's a map traverse. You guys know that you're like this road goes all the way up to the warehouse. You're close to that whole logging trail situation. There's the big ridge with the cavern. There was the like low brush woods and like the mature clearing that you passed by. The ridge. Where do you want to go?
Are there areas that we haven't explored yet?
You could go through these woods forever and still find areas that you haven't explored.
Garlic. It has healing properties.
If it's that far away, like, we don't really have any reason to go over there.
Don't have any reason not to go over there.
It's really far away.
We'll have a lot of trouble securing a food source if all we do is spend all day traveling towards garlic, only to get some garlic on the other end.
There was
Yeah.
lots of garlic.
Garlic is not really a full
And-
meal.
And berries.
Were
And-
there berries?
And
They're
pigs.
mostly garlic.
Pigs eat the garlic, we eat the pigs.
We don't know if there are pigs anymore. After
We
last
saw
night.
the pigs eating the garlic.
Yeah, and then we saw the pigs strung up on trees.
There was more than 2 pigs.
At least 30 to 50.
We don't know how many pigs there are.
Pros for the garlic, it was safe, it had ample food,
We don't know that it was safe.
and it had garlic.
We do not know that it was safe. Wasn't the first pine cone at at that area?
I think it was.
Yeah,
Those were squirrels.
I doubt it.
Well, fine then. Where do you suppose we go?
At the sign of that question, Reggie, you look down and you see that there's some shed antlers just sort of in the brush at the edge of the trail.
There's probably some deer in that direction if you feel like hunting.
Sure.
Oh,
Rather that
okay.
than Darklings.
Let's still proceed with a little bit of caution.
Okay.
You go from where you saw those antlers and you look for tracks going any direction. And you don't see tracks, but you see that there's some bite marks taken out of those cabbage things you found earlier. And as you look around, you're noticing something you didn't before. There's a whole bunch of different plants, and a lot of them are being eaten by the wildlife. These cabbage plants, there was only a few of those little garlic knobs, but these cabbage things are everywhere.
If I just eat some of that cabbage, does that count as food to heal from?
Yeah.
Then Jesus, this is slowly morphing more and more into my Breath of the Wild playthrough, but I started just chowing down on cabbage. How much does that heal me for?
Well, you go
plus some stamina?
You basically eat as much as you can eat before you're like, oh god, I can't keep ingesting leaves. You heal. You heal 16 stamina.
Oh, that's... thank the Lord.
Reggie knows that this is the good shit for cabbage. So he's probably going to do the same.
All right, and you've got one more than that, 17 stamina.
Cool.
Unfortunately, Salus is eaten.
I'm waiting for the moment where Twig basically chops down a tree and then uses force magic to hold it in place while he whacks it with Salus's axe and then jumps on it at the last moment and watches it fly off.
Yeah. Oh boy.
If it's truly
oh my god, he even has bomb making. I didn't plan for this. Will just sent me, hey, you should give him bomb making. And I thought, okay, I guess he has some big plan for this. But no, Will was like, no, you make it Link.
I just said plucky adventurer, and I gave you plucky adventurer abilities.
Apparently Link is the epitome of plucky adventurer.
Yes.
He really is.
Twig is the shirtless 3 hearts Link with a tree branch that you first start out as.
Not the beefy boy.
Of course. We've been fighting
Link.
We've been fighting bokoblins. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Little did we know that Will has been making session notes by playing Breath of the Wild and just being like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's have him do that.
Oh, my goodness.
So you guys you're at the base of this waterfall. You've had some cabbage plants as much as you can handle eating it in one go, and you've eaten. You're not super hungry anymore.
I pat my belly and say, well, that wasn't filling at all.
Probably going to be like, well, we probably want to put some distance from where we know those things we're hunting.
Right, and we know that those things are they hunt in the trees. So like
Yeah, going to an area with no trees is a little bit rough, but we can at least go away from where they were hunting. We don't know if they're just like roaming or not, but if that's their hunting ground, if they've made that their hunting ground, then we can sort of, not go there and avoid the shit out of that.
Reggie gets an inexplicable impulse.
What is this inexplicable impulse, Will?
Do you follow it?
Sure. Reggie is always one to follow his impulses.
So you're kind of going like, yeah, that's where they... And like you're thinking out your sentences, but you're not saying anything. You're just looking at the antlers, and you go and you grab them, and you just kind of... And like there's a quarter second where you're sitting there going, Reggie, what are you doing? And then you just sort of steely look down the road past where the warehouse should be.
Okay.
And that's where ground is being held. It's weird. It's almost like I just noticed the fucking hat.
You said I had antlers. I got antlers.
It's beautiful. So
I love this hat.
It's almost like a great duty. Like there's a showdown and you need to make yourself heard on the other side of the woods. As you move these antlers down, you still feel it. There's that direction, that pull.
Ooh,
You feel
let me try. And I
aggressive.
grab the antlers.
So Twig, you're just standing there with antlers on your head. Nothing's happening.
Salas is going to be like, what is going on?
I give you my best steely look. Like I saw Reggie doing.
Why are you guys acting like this?
I
What
don't
is
know.
happening?
I point at Reggie.
There's something going on in the forest.
Yeah, we figured that out last night.
No,
Oh,
I mean, like, the forest is actively against those things.
I nod authoritatively.
Reggie immediately just starts, without explaining the rest of it to them, he just immediately starts walking in that direction beyond the warehouse to where the last stand is.
I follow, but I'm keeping the antlers on.
All right, all of you are following
through the
Reggie.
forest like this.
You make your way down the road. It's a good half hour that passes until you get close enough to the warehouse that to respect the proving, you have to leave the road and go back into the woods. There's almost a quietness to it, like you're marching into war. And the closer you get, the more that you see other deer also making their way to this place.
Salas, hand me the axe.
I hand you the axe.
It's go time.
We're gonna fight.
I'm gonna cast my mind out to the deer and let them know that basically just do the druid equivalent of guy chin wave.
The bro nod.
The bro nod.
The deer nods back and continues on. You make your way past the warehouse. The low, like, midriff level brush clears and you're back to the garlic forests.
I start pulling up garlic and tying them to my belt that's holding the fig leaf for later.
It's
You go and you pull a bulb out and you try to tie it on, and as this happens, the entirety of your loincloth just loses all structural integrity. Like this thread comes undone from that and slips through from that, and then there's a knot that's broken and something snaps, and now you're just fully naked again.
Ugh.
It's okay. The
And
deer are just like that.
holding some garlic.
Do either of you have some sort of pouch?
Totally
You
naked.
look at your two naked friends.
No, like a kangaroo.
That's marsupials.
Damn it. Can I make a belt of garlic?
Oh
No,
god.
that's stupid.
You have no idea how to engage in this task as you're just sort of fumbling with this bulb. As you get here into the woods where things are wild and open and sparse, you can see that there's a number of deer that are making their way through the woods. They're not close, like you're not in the middle of a crowd. Like it's the same way that you would on a camping trip. You just see, oh, and 2, and 3, and that kind of thing.
We continue to march on.
You move past, and now you're sort of in the woods. They're not all marching in one direction. They're all just sort of making their way around their business.
Making their way downtown.
You see that there's a very large old deer. It's got, like, you can see that the fur is weak, brittle, and weathered. This thing's seen many years. It's got these huge antlers. And it's just sitting and watching. And you can see that there's a big deer and a small deer in the nearby that are charging up at each other and wrestling with their antlers. For too long, the big deer seems to get the other hand until the younger one sort of thrusts it off into the woods, and the other deer just accepts defeat and wanders off.
Reggie has admiration towards the elder deer. Twig still has the antlers, right?
Twig has dropped the antlers in favor of garlic. I realize now that I don't have any pockets that I can't hold garlic and a spear and antlers. So he would have gotten bored of the antlers at this point.
Reggie will take the antlers from the ground that Twig so rudely dropped. And then just kind of brush the dirt off of them and just kind of hold it up to the side of his head just to be like, again, just be like, yes, we are here.
So as you do that, as you go funk, there's that same sort of brief moment of, what am I doing with my life? And then there's a pervasive calm, but like a joyous, gregarious calm, like being with family at a holiday. It feels okay here. We've been traveling through the early day and it's getting close to noon. And that's when you hear in the distance like a howling. You know the sound of wolves. And as that happens, the deer around you, they acknowledge you. And they start getting up and they just start wandering off a little. They're waiting for you a little bit.
We'll be safe with this herd of deer. Follow me.
The garlic.
Grab some for the road.
Fine.
You already have all the garlic you can grab, presumably.
Yeah, okay.
Walking along with a fistful of garlic.
I do have one extra in his mouth.
Holding it.
Yeah, and well, kind of trying to chew it and hold it at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of way where you're trying to eat a cookie, but like you also have to like use both of your hands at the same time, so you're just kind of like.
When you're late for anime school.
Yeah, when you're late for anime school and you have bread in your mouth and you're running around the corner.
And I'm feeling very kawaii.
So you walk for maybe 10 minutes, cautiously and very quietly making your way through the trees before settling down again elsewhere in the forest. You guys are with the herd for a while. You've got that protection. And there's, without the desperation, now that you're here in a forest where you know there's food, now that you're with people, and presumably you'd be able to sleep with this herd later if they accepted you, you're somewhat safe. You have a moment to reflect. What's everybody thinking about?
Salas is like, why are we with a herd of deer? I don't understand. What is happening?
Yeah, Twig is thinking, why on earth did we leave the garlic?
Look, there's just strength in numbers. So long as we don't hunt these deer, there's strength in these numbers.
In a mouthful of garlic, Twig says, what? That's the deal?
Yeah.
Oh,
if you want, I can challenge the I can challenge the deer for, you know, whatever. To really ingratiate myself with with the deer, but like there's not much else to it. There's strength in numbers, there's monsters hunting us. Monsters attack us, we fight with the deer. It's better than fighting by ourselves.
Slowly but surely, the day wears on into afternoon. There's some times where you're kind of sitting there twiddling with your thumbs, just looking out. Pine trees of various stripes, you know, like those sort of thin triangular leaves, like the little cross-section-y needles. There's the flat needles. You can see some of them there's some deciduous trees here and there, broad leaves in the middle of this forest, but overall, here in the big game woods, it's all open. You can walk around a degree. It gets a little bit closer, like it starts to get a bit darker, and you can see all the herd getting up, and they start to make some more movement.
I was gonna say, while they've stopped in a clearing, Reggie's gonna make a berry bush in the ground.
All right, roll.
Or actually, He's torn between berry bush and firewood, so it would probably be like a split between the two. Of whatever he's actually able to do.
I'll say berry bush for now, because, I mean, I'll leave firewood for another time.
Okay.
So roll hen for that.
Ooh. That would be a 15.
15. So you reach deep. You're in the wrong spot, so you get up. You move like 10 feet over. You're almost there. You get up. You move like 90 degrees, another 5 feet. You get in, and there's the good stuff. You dig your fingers deep into the dirt, and in front of you, slowly, like hyper aging into maturity, there's a sprout, and it twigs, and it spreads off, and it starts sprouting these big juicy berries. You want the deer nearby come and start eating off the bush with you. You notice that the deer, they take some of the berries, but they only take like a fifth of them. They leave behind a decent amount.
I'm gonna eat some berries. Also, how much do I heal from eating a day's worth of just like garlic handfuls?
I'm gonna say that you've healed for the day from earlier.
Okay.
And you're still kind of in the woods, not metabolizing very well.
Okay.
Does garlic metabolize? Actually, no. From life experience, garlic doesn't metabolize very well.
Oh yes, you and garlic are old enemies.
Yeah. Garlic and I hate each other. I'll say this. Garlic doesn't metabolize very well.
You know all the things that don't go down well.
I do.
Put them on a list.
On a list that you own.
Yeah. The list is now up here.
So after they take most of the berries, they leave behind some and get ready to move on. You can wither this and take the sort of dry, dead wood, or you can just leave the rest of the berries there for something else.
We should probably leave it for something else to eat. You know, circle of life and all that jazz.
I got my garlic, so I'm pretty much set.
That's what the deer are doing.
All right. You start moving on, and as you look back, you can see that there's a couple of squirrels that are coming up and nibbling on these berries. It's getting close to dark when you reach a source, like the high pool that you sort of started this adventure in, and the deer are coming down to take a drink. They drink a little while. You have a chance to drink alongside them, and then they start moving off a little ways. They get to an area that's like it's the edge of a ridge, and it's sort of a hollow spot, and they all close-ish together start lying down for the night.
Now we should probably get the firewood going.
Will the deer be happy if we start lighting fires?
Not super close to them, but if it's off to the side, sure. I don't
Wasn't
see
this
why.
thing about safety in numbers?
Well, the numbers are right there.
Right, but if we're snuggled up with some warm deer bodies, why would we need a fire?
At that rate, it's just kind of gonna go, you know what? Sure, sounds like a good idea as any.
Twig is gonna try and go approach the deer and see if he can snuggle in their ranks.
Given Twig's demeanor, I'm going to say that you go, "Hi, dear," and they kind of just look at you with that obvious, like, antlers first, like, "Hello, person."
Can I roll performance to try and make comforting deer noises?
It wouldn't be performance.
Oh, what would it be?
I'm going to say you've already kind of blown it with them with your "hi," and, like, they're just kind of giving you a berth. Eventually, you just sit down with some space.
I offer them a garlic.
It's not accepted.
Okay.
At that, Reggie's kind of gonna go and just kind of be like, "Is that all right?" Like, do the like mental grove, like casting out thoughts, and just be like, "Communion, us, sits, yes."
You're here. They've let you stay here while they sat, so presumably you're allowed to stay the night. That being said, as long as you're here and you think about making a fire, you get an aversion. You get kind of like a, if you set that fire, you should start running kind of feeling.
Yeah, we'd probably spook them with the fire. Well,
Yep.
it might just be a little bit of a chilly night. It's a shame you lost that twig. But look at it this way, you can cover yourself in garlic.
I could. Well, no, I still have my big twig. I have it tucked under my arm.
I meant your cloth.
Oh, my fig, yes. Well, if I'm being honest, the genitals isn't really sort of... The covering wasn't for heat reasons.
Slowly the night starts to set in proper, and it gets dim, then dark, then before too long you can't see much. There's some shifting, and as the night wears on, they get closer, and you don't really sleep, but there's a group of warm-blooded creatures in a similar area, and tonight isn't as cold as the last few, so you actually get somewhat warm. You don't have shelter, but you have comfort, you have safety, so you guys heal.
Woohoo!
This is for anybody who's tired, which I presume is everybody. Reggie,
Nope.
you heal.
Reggie healed up from the food earlier. He was only 1 point into tired.
Okay, in that case, Twig, you heal 9. That's on the floor. And Salas heals 8.
Awesome.
When you guys awaken in the morning, you're in a loose pile with these deer, and you notice that nearby there's some squirrels that have also kind of been inhabiting the area around you. They seem to be staying close-ish. They're kind of... It's almost like you're the epicenter of an area, and they don't want to go too far. As you get up, move to the edge to take a piss first thing in the morning, they kind of follow. And you move closer to the group, they follow you back in with the group. The deer start to wake up right as this like early morning quiet time you got yesterday fades, and the day's starting. The deer are getting up, but this time around, as you're getting up to move, they seem to be moving with you.
Interesting. We seem to have acquired a party of deer.
Well, that's good.
I guess. I mean, we were just following them before. So, yeah.
As you're talking, going like, yeah, we just started following, you see that there's a pine cone that skitters into the ground, and one of the deer charges a tree and slams it. One of these things falls, and then all of them, you see a number of them have crept up in the trees, and they start scampering off into the distance as the deer start ramming the trees nearby.
Nice.
Are any of the deer actually like attacking them or just shaking them out of the trees?
I wouldn't say shaking, like they charge the trees hard. Like this sort of thing could kill a person.
Yeah, but like...
But that is what they're doing. They're not attacking the creatures, they're driving them off.
Another obscure reference. You could do the same thing in the second generation Pokemon games. You use Headbutt on the tree and causes Pokemon to fall out.
Wait, you the person headbutts the tree?
No, your Pokemon does.
Okay.
It was wild, the sequence of games where it was like you had HMs, but then you had random TMs that would do stuff and you didn't know unless like someone told you.
Yeah, those were great. Second generation was fantastic. They really experimented with it.
Mm-hmm. They were like, I feel like the second generation Pokemon games were made by them going, wow, we got funding for the first generation and they're letting us do it again?
Yeah, they had fun with it. They really did.
Well, I think we may have just stumbled on the end point. This is the end of the session. You guys have deer and squirrel friends.
Oh, goodness.
Yay!
So check back in for a week. We are on day 6 of Reggie's 9-day proving, if I remember correctly.
Sure. That sounds right.
You guys can check us out on the later half of 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/Mr. Croden on Thursdays. You can find our videos on YouTube when we post them, youtube.com/Mr. Croden. And you can find the rules to this game in a playtest form at bloodwine.fan.com. Got anything to plug?
Yeah. First off, I want to say thank you to The Empire Strikes Ass for the follow. I'm saying this. I thank them in chat, but
That is a
I
good name.
primarily just want to say that is a fantastic name. That is just
so good.
that is just a solid name. And second, yes, there is a thing I would like to plug, Will. It is a thing that we are doing.
Yeah, Saturday we're gonna start playing some New Vegas. The plan is to do the I'm Will and I like this game a lot, and all of my opinions are authoritative, so this is the correct run. Which is to say, we're gonna play Fallout New Vegas because it's a reasonably, I wouldn't say open-ended, but it's a very open feeling game, and so there's a lot of ways to go with it. Hopefully, it's a good time.
Yeah, and
Saturday.
I've never played any of the Fallout games, and I feel like this is a great way to experience Fallout without me inevitably getting bored and wandering off and playing something else.
Yeah, by playing the good one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
still a risk though.
The good new generation one, Fallout 1 and 2 are also good, but they're like from 1990 or something.
Yeah, no, you can't convince me to play those.
But they're beautiful and nice. Anyways, it's been nice. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for coming up. Thank you for all your support, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
See you.